from the majority that I've seen, it's usually the economic factor is the biggest driver. Because think about it, if you go to these other countries and meet a woman who's as educated as you, like, but behaves in the ways that you like, then probably, like, chances are the type of men who are going over here, they can't match up with those people.
Yeah.
You have to they'll usually go for someone who's like below them in class.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's a problem because
So
I'm saying the woman who would accept
what if they're in the
that
same
will be
class?
doing that more for economic. If they're the same class, then fair enough.
You have
like
no problem with that.
no, of course, why would I?
Okay,
Because
so it's
she's
only-
making
it's-
a conscious
so it's
decision
only-
based on economics
So it's
and
only
culture and all of that.
only those who are poor, basically,
Exactly.
relative to the man.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of that. And again, like, I don't want to say taking advantage because obviously she's making a decision too. You would hope.
Yeah, because you have
But
to think she
you
would
would
probably
hope.
be in love with him
Yeah,
or something.
You would hope, right? But
Yeah.
So,
like just the little interactions.
my question is, what's different between that ideal and the Western woman doing it? Because a lot of the Western women, in these guys' arguments, not me, are saying that they're chasing over rich men in the West as well, just so they can take their money through divorces and whatnot, taking advantage of the guys here.
Well, yeah, they're obviously bad people if they do that. It's
Yeah.
not, they shouldn't be exempt.
So like,
Yeah, they're bad people everywhere.
Yeah.
so what do you say about the woman here doing that? And the reasons
Or going to other countries to get rich.
no,
men.
the women here in the West
Yeah.
who choose men based on economics only.
Well, obviously, like that's
I
not.
feel like that's
Yeah.
a cultural thing, though. Okay? I think because of like obviously.
Because that's the problem in America right now. as you
It's
said.
country. It's the problem everywhere. Like Western society and as well as like less economically developed countries. There's always been the men have been of status, and which is why you have like in those countries where like there'd be like a single income family where everything would be dependent on the man.
Yeah.
And in countries like America, the UK, where we've had like suffragettes and like equality and
moved
all
away
of that,
from it, innit?
and where women are now becoming more like equal in terms of like what they can do in terms of opportunities, in terms of how far they can go up in the like employment ladder and in university and stuff. So I feel like the mindset is probably still there because we're not like too far removed away from our grandparents or even mothers and fathers being like of that culture of like, oh, the dad will look, the mother will provide and stuff. So even though opportunity for women is improving, they probably still want the like provider mindset and stuff like that. So obviously there are some women who have unrealistic expectations, and some women who will try and like stiff you out of like all your earnings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have bad men taking advantage of women. You have bad women taking advantage of men. So
But you are labeling all the passport bros as bad men for going to
no,
these countries?
because I said before that if
searching for that.
because as I've said before, like if it's an issue of proximity and if what you desire is culture, then like I don't have an issue with it.
Right.
But like for me, if I'm like I have no, like obviously you guys are my friends. If I was ever being like, oh, you know what, I just want to marry a Mexican woman for like I can't speak Spanish. I have no interaction with any Mexicans. I have no familiarity with the culture. But if I'm like, you know what, like UK women are trash. Let me go to Mexico, get women. I expect you guys to speak up for like or side eye me or something.
Because I think that's the thing, innit? My big thing with it is just umbrella terming the whole Western women thing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're like in your 20s, like there's no way in hell. 20s, 30s. Why are you moving to like another part of the world because you think all of the women are trash? Like it doesn't make sense to me. And how is this any different to people saying, "Oh, I miss the old days"? Because like you're going to another part of the world that less in the nicest way possible. They are probably behind us in a societal like aspect. So, you know, like you said, in probably some of those societies, the men kind of do everything still, and then the women don't. So you're basically saying you want to move back to something like that.
But
like,
even
it's like Captain America going back in time,
Yeah.
back into the 40s, like where racism was still very much at large.
Yeah, that's why I went back in time.
and even with all of that, like there's a fundamental, I guess, lack of just people who know how to have a conversation with someone and like just know people. Because again, if I meet someone who, so you meet all these people who are like, oh, these women are taking advantage of me, taking my money and all of this stuff. But it's like that. There's a character thing you've obviously missed while you were talking to these people, or you rushed into something. But I'm like, if you're having a quality conversation with someone you're potentially going to marry, like you would know these things and you would address them. And so very early on, you like people show you who they are, but very early on, you'd be like, okay, this is not for me, cool. And again, so there's part of the environment thing, like the circles you're meeting, you're more likely to find those type of women in certain environments, right? And in other environments, it's not to say they don't exist there, but like you're less likely to find them. And even if you do, the quality of your conversations or the things you talk about, the depth of what you're actually looking to interact. It's like how you gauge someone's character.
Yeah.
It's like having friends or like or people who like stiff you and all these things. Like, not to say bad things happen to people, but it's like if you're someone who's like, I've dated let's say 20 women. And all 20 have done something nasty to you, then I'm sorry. Like, I need to look at what it is you're talking to about.
At some point, you become
a common denominator.
I need to look at like what is it about like the type of woman you're going for or what you talk about. Like, how do you not like suss these things, especially if it's happened to you in the past. Especially if it's happened to you in the past. Like, why wouldn't you like? Okay, if this has happened before, like maybe I should ask this question up front, or like.
So I don't disagree with you that you should defend yourself. You should look after yourself, and you should have your guard up, especially because of the.
I don't even want to use guard, but
no,
like
you
it's
should.
like
You should protect yourself.
No,
right?
I hear that, but
Why
when you say guard, it's
okay.
more you're going into something like very combative. Like I'm trying to like you're someone I'm interested in, like visually at least
it's
for
not
a
even
man.
combative, just inquisitive. Just
exactly,
try
yeah.
to
Like
understand the
it's
person
a
you're trying to
genuine
be in a
interest.
relationship
That's
with.
why I don't like guard, because guard is more adversarial. It's like we're starting
Okay.
off like you trying to like
Alright, not guard
fight.
then.
Curious.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever word you want to use, but based to play devil's advocate, you might think you know someone, and then you get into this long-term relationship with them, might have a kid with them, and then all of a sudden, things change. Like all of the laws, and rightfully so, I guess.
What's to stop that from happening when you go across the world?
No.
Exactly.
I agree. There's nothing to stop it, right?
Yeah.
But the laws put in place protect the woman in those scenarios, so they can literally take anything.
We're talking about
and everything away from you if you're married to them, right?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but that's a different problem altogether.
Yeah.
And the answer to your question, as far as I understand it, is there's nothing to stop that really, but you're betting on everything you guys have been through and this person that you know, and like that's what you've because you can never know 100% about everything. So you're saying, based on everything I know about you and vice versa, I'm making the commitment to you for us to go however long, forever, whatever it is. That's not to say 20 years down the line something crazy happens and then you just find yourself divorcing or whatnot.
I think what they're arguing is that you're less likely to have a messy situation because you're with a more, as you say, not enslaving, but a more of a woman who obeys,
someone who doesn't know her rights.
Not someone who doesn't know the rights.
Literally.
No, but it's not just that. More women now today in the West, I think there's like 50% of marriages end up in divorce or something.
When
I think it's higher than that.
It might be even be higher, but in the
but also
in the
though,
countries
that's
where the women are, these guys are going to,
Mm.
the divorce rate is not that high.
Yeah, but why is that?
Yeah,
because
that's what
you have to look
ask
into
yourself,
why
like,
it is.
it's not
Yeah,
like you can't divorce.
because when you look into why it happens in the West, from what I've seen, is a lot of the time people not being together long enough, people not knowing each other long enough, people not understanding like
Finances.
the commitment of finances, the commitment of marriage. Like, think of how many people get married after a year and then get divorced like a couple of years later.
Okay.
Like, so there's more of a problem that isn't tied to women as to why people are getting divorced.
That's a fair point.
And also people like romanticize the idea of relationships nowadays, let alone marriage.
I was about to say, like, a lot of people think, oh, I love this person, so that qualifies to marriage. Like, love is it's a part of marriage, but trust me, like, it is not the thing that holds a marriage together.
And some people are even like, you know what, like, I'm not having fun anymore. I'm like, this isn't meant to be.
Bro, every time I see you see these videos and like these women making these like, oh, I wasn't happy. I hear happy, like to the point where when people say happy, I'm just like, I roll my eyes. Not because it's not a valid emotion or anything, but it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways.
It's not just women. It's like
men,
women
as well.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, my wife's body's changed after she's given birth to, like X amount of kids.
So that's what you'd kind of hear from a Western man. I would argue. The words that you're saying just now.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say that.
No, I think
talking after. I'm from Nigeria. I've been around men, especially growing up, who are
they like that in Nigeria.
the things they talk
Nigerians
about.
as well.
The things they talk about.
Wives.
The things they talk about as far as like the reasons behind like why they're looking elsewhere or cheating or they're complaining about their wives and so on. It's like this is not limited to.
There's a term Yoruba demons for a reason. Like unfortunately, I am Yoruba, but it's fine.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know, for me, the whole passport bros thing is people copping out and choosing the easy option, which I guess in life you should do, but in this scenario, I wouldn't do it myself, and I'd choose.
Yeah, honestly, it's lame, bro. Like, if life pulls you, in my view, if life pulls you in a direction where you find yourself in another country and you meet someone, like,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
circumstances,
Everyone's
like if
naturally,
things
yeah.
like that happen, that's cool. That's whatever. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
But if
But
like
if you're
on that
actively looking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like
sugar
ways to
baby
take
websites and
advantage
stuff
of
like
certain situations, like I just look
Yeah.
at you like,
Taking
alright,
advantage
cool.
of another society.
Yeah,
basically,
like what are you
Yeah.
doing
Well,
here?
And I'll end it with this. I'll argue for them, these passport borrowers, because watching their videos and watching them make their points, it's that it's not they choose to go and actively search for these women. It's that the women where they are
Mm.
pushing them out and phasing them out.
I don't think women are
Yeah.
like. I mean, if people are chasing you out of your own society, I mean, the issue is you.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because you're
exactly.
weak.
Yeah.
I would argue to counter that is
Mhm.
that you're not weak. It's you are not attracted to the person, the society that you're
See, I'm
within.
not even calling them weak. I'm just saying like.
When
I
I
mean,
say
you
weak,
said
it doesn't
weak,
have to
you
be
said weak.
physical or mental. I'm like, there's something about you that's
Yeah.
weak. Whether it's your character or you're like, it's
Like
weakness,
beta
bro.
male
It's
or-
weakness.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a
Interesting.
different. There might be a different type of weakness, but it's some kind of weakness that's
Yeah.
that's making you not being able to just live in the place that you are.
Yeah.
Like,
I
there's
mean, I
just-
probably
there's a
wouldn't
weakness to
go
that.
to that extent.
That's a
either,
mad
but I
extreme, I
would
would
probably
say.
just be like, there's like millions of people just in London alone. Like you
Mm.
explore the country, explore your
Until you go through
neighborhoods,
all like 3 million women or however many is in London, like don't chat to me
like
about
move your
passport.
areas. Like,
No, because because
But
for like whatever meek-minded woman that you find in any country, like I can, if I interview and went through literally all the women in
Yeah.
in the UK, I will find one
'cause
that
for
has those
example,
qualities.